Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got an update here for you regarding a video that I put out just a few days ago. We were talking about Russia warning that they would respond to U.S. drone flights over the Black Sea. Now, Russia's defense ministry was ordering some officials to prepare a response to these U.S. drone flights over the Black Sea, and we were wondering what those were going to be. Obviously, what it sounded like was that Russia was going to start shooting down U.S. drones over the Black Sea, similar to the one you see here. This is an RQ-4B Global Hawk, and this is a reconnaissance drone that the United States uses. And they fly a lot of these drones over the Black Sea, and they monitor areas like the Black Sea Fleet when they're hanging out near Crimea. Also, they monitor the Crimean Peninsula because obviously it's under Russian control right now, and they might be able to monitor a little bit of southwestern Russia as well, like near the Rostov region. But primarily, they've been really monitoring the Crimea area, and that's where we see a lot of these ATACMS missiles attacks onto the Crimean Peninsula when Ukraine launches these strikes. So we had some reports just about a week or two ago that there was a attack on Sevastopol. There was a beach there just north of Sevastopol, and it came under attack by ATACMS missiles, apparently with cluster munitions. Russia was blaming the West and primarily the United States because this is their weaponry, that they were involved in this attack when there was hundreds of innocent civilians at this beach that were injured. I believe there was at least like 5 or 7, maybe somewhere around that number of people that were actually killed in this attack. And Russia was saying that Ukraine was involved in this because obviously they fired the missiles, but Russia was saying that the United States gathers intelligence off the coast of Crimea with these Recon planes or these reconnaissance drones, and they use that information, give that to Ukrainians, input that in their computers before they launch these missiles, and then they know where to target. So they're basically saying that that the United States is heavily involved here, and obviously this is pushing us closer to a major war between NATO and Russia, and that's what the real concern is here. So when I did this report, we were talking about this actually when we did this video a few days ago. It says here on ABC News, Russia warns it can respond to U.S. drone flights over the Black Sea. Russia's defense ministry says officials have been ordered to prepare a response to U.S. drone flights over the Black Sea in an apparent warning that Moscow may take forceful action to ward off American reconnaissance aircraft. Okay, so Russia's defense ministry was warning they were going to respond, right? Well, we've got this report now that basically is talking about the fact that the United States has replaced these drones with actual manned jets, okay, actual aircraft with a person inside of it to ward off some of these threats. So if Russia was thinking about shooting these things down, well, now they can't shoot it down anymore because there's a person inside of these jets. And if they were to shoot down one of these jets that had a person in it, a U.S. Air Force member, right, service member, then obviously we would be in World War III. So they're trying to protect these reconnaissance aircraft, and instead of using drones like the one you see here in the photo, they're now using actual aircraft. So let me kind of show you an example here just for a moment. I've got this post here from X, okay? This was posted a little while back, I think back in February or something like that. But this is from Mensch Ozent. It says U.S. Air Force reconnaissance UAV Grumman, I don't know if it's Grumman or Grumman, RQ-4B Forte 12 10-2045, been operating over the Black Sea for 14 hours. So here's like a flight radar of an RQ-4B Global Hawk, similar to the one I showed you there in the waiting screen when you guys came in. And this is kind of what they do. They'll just kind of keep circling here in the Black Sea, and they'll do this for hours upon hours, and they'll monitor Crimea right here. Okay, Crimea, and they may be able to get some intelligence from over in the Krasnodar region or Rostov. I don't know if they can get from this far away, but at least the Krasnodar region. But primarily, they monitor Crimea a lot. And then soon after that, that's when we start to see attacks on the Crimean Peninsula. So that's kind of what the U.S. does to help out Ukraine so they can target inside of Crimea, take out their air defense. Apparently, that's a big goal for Ukraine right now. Ukraine is trying to wipe out Russia's air defense inside of Crimea right now. And we have seen lots of attacks on air defense, probably at least 3 or 4 attacks on taking out S-300 or S-400 launchers inside of Crimea. I've seen lots of reports of that, even a nuclear radar that was taken out as well. Okay, so clearly the United States wants to keep doing this, and continue supporting Ukraine with intelligence information. So, what they have done now is what we see here in this report. Okay, this is on Global Defense News, Army Recognition Group. And it says here Washington has replaced its reconnaissance drones over the Black Sea with manned jet amid Russian threats. And this came out yesterday. It says here Washington has, at least verbally, ignored Moscow's warning about the possibility of taking retaliatory measures against its reconnaissance drones flights over the Black Sea. The Pentagon stated that flights would continue over international waters and in international airspace where the law allows. However, in reality, the U.S. has indeed recalled its drones from this region, replacing them with manned aircraft. Okay, so now we've got a physical human being in an aircraft, and if it gets shot down, that's obviously World War III, just like I stated earlier. So they're doing this to kind of push Russia away, so that way they don't respond to this. That way the United States can continue to do these reconnaissance missions for Ukraine. That way Ukraine can continue targeting Crimea. So this is absolutely huge news. And it says right here as well, in fact, the verbal reaction of the U.S. Department of Defense can hardly be called unexpected. No one expected that after Moscow's words, the U.S. would completely cease flying in this area. However, experts note that U.S. military reconnaissance aircraft are now kept at a respectful distance, although international law allows them to fly within 23 kilometers of the Crimea coast. Overall, Moscow's statement and Washington's reaction are just links in a long chain of mutual testing between the United States and the Russian Federation. Although encounters in the sky are now common, the interception of an American drone by a Sukhoi over the Black Sea is still remembered. It was foreseeable that new interceptions would occur. However, shooting down an aircraft with a pilot constitutes a casus belli, a reason to go to war. Therefore, Russia today cannot attempt such a maneuver, which was impossible with a drone, which in itself remains no more than metal. Today, we wonder if this reduction in reconnaissance missions in favor of the Ukrainian armed forces will really have an impact. It is not yet certain, as the Ukrainian forces are accustomed to and capable of striking blindly. So we are hearing that a lot. Like the U.S. will come out and say that they're not involved in any intelligence for the Ukrainians to target inside of Crimea or in Russia or anything like that. That they basically just give them the weapons and they strike targets inside of either Russian territory or eastern Ukraine or Crimea or wherever, that they don't have any actual intelligence that they give to Ukraine. But clearly, the United States does fly off the coast of Crimea. We've seen lots of reports on that, and they continuously do this, and that's why Russia is coming out warning, saying that they're putting together a plan to prevent this from happening, to prevent these reconnaissance planes or these drones, for example, from flying off the coast of Crimea and gathering intelligence for the Ukrainians to launch strikes inside of Crimea. And we haven't seen a response from the Russians just yet. All we knew as of the last 4 days or so was that the Russian Defense Ministry was telling their officials to put together a plan to respond to this, okay? So now if the United States is using these jets with a human in them, now they basically can't respond to it anymore. As long as they're staying within international airspace, the Russians cannot respond, and the U.S. could likely continue doing their intelligence and reconnaissance missions for Ukraine. But I just wanted to share this with you because it was kind of an update to the video we put out a few days ago, and when I found this information, I thought this was pretty important to understand here. And looks like these flights are going to continue, at least for right now. We'll see how the Russians respond, and if they do, maybe they'll try something else, some sort of a tactic to ward off the U.S. planes, but most likely this won't happen. But you let me know what you think down below regarding this story. This is obviously big news, so go ahead and share your thoughts, concerns, and opinions down in the comment section. That's going to be it for this update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell, that way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope y'all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.